Hello YouTube, and welcome to my ADB tutorial. In this video I'm going to show you some basic ADB commands. It might be a little bit long video because I want to show you all the relevant commands that you may need if you're using ADB, and I want you to know what's out there if you're looking for a tool to do something. ADB can be pretty versatile. But if you don't know that ADB can do certain things, you may never consider using it. But it is very, very versatile, and it can save you a lot of time if you know what you're doing with ADB. So let's start with the most basic commands. Oh, by the way, guys, before we proceed, I just want to say that these commands are going to be universal across Mac and Windows and Linux. Okay, as long as you can run ADB, you should be fine. Okay, so let's start with the most basic commands like ADB devices to see which devices are currently connected to my machine. So this device is currently connected, and I want to execute my commands against this device. So I'm going to say ADB -s, and then I'm going to paste the device ID. And right now I want to remove an application from my device. And the application that I want to remove is this Hotspot Shield debug version. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say ADB -s device ID, and then I'm going to say uninstall, and then I'm going to say the package ID of that app that I want to install. And I happen to know that the package ID is Hotspot Shield Android VPN debug. And if when I hit enter, it's going to remove that app. See, it's gone. So now I want to install it back on my device. Okay, let's do that real quick. So let's see, I'm on my desktop, and if I check the files that I have on my desktop, we can see that I have an APK file here that I'm going to install on my device. So to do that, I'm just going to do ADB -s. Whoops. Let's do this. ADB -s device ID install, and because I'm already located on desktop, I'm just going to say hss.apk, and that should install the app on my device. Alright, there we see that it installed. So what if I want to reinstall this app? If I execute this command again when the app is already installed, it's going to throw an exception. Let's wait for the exception. Okay, it says failed. Install failed already exists. Okay, so what do we do in this case? Well, we can say install, and then we can give it a flag -r. -r means okay to reinstall. Okay. Also, say we want to install a version lower of the app that we have on our device. So say if this Hotspot Shield is version 2 and I want to install Hotspot Shield version 1, I need to specify that it is okay to downgrade the version. Okay, and the way I can do that is say -d. Okay, so -r means okay to reinstall, -d means okay to downgrade. And when we execute this, the app should be reinstalled. Okay, so now let's see how we can determine which app is in the foreground. Okay, if we want to figure out what's the package ID of an app that's in foreground, what's the activity name of the app that's in foreground right now, we can do that. So let's open an app and let's get the info that we're looking for. So we're going to say ADB, and I'm actually not going to be using -s anymore because I only have one device connected, and I can drop the -s in this case because ADB will automatically know which device to use because there's only one device available. So I'm just going to say ADB shell dumpsys, and I want system dump for Windows, and because I'm on a Windows, I'm going to type findstr focus. Okay. If you are on a Mac, you want to type, instead of findstr, you want to type grep and then hit enter. But I'm on a Windows, I'm going to type findstr and hit enter, and that will give me information right here about which. So this is the package ID, and this is the activity name that's in the foreground right now. Okay, if we exit and we execute this same thing again, you see that the package ID changed and the activity name changed. Okay, so let's say I want to reopen this app programmatically. Okay, not by clicking this icon, but programmatically. I want to send an intent, and I want that intent to open this app for me. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna type ADB shell am activity manager start, and we're going to be using API for Android, and this is intent API for launcher, and then we're going to be using another API from Android as well, and that's for the category main, and then we're going to specify, um, here you have to specify the package ID and the activity name. Okay, so this is the exact information that we can obtain over here. We can paste it in and then hit enter and see what happens. That should open up the app, and it does it. All right, so great. Um, that's all cool, but what if, I'm doing some QA and I see some bad things happening with my app and I need to take a log? Okay, how can I take a log on an Android? So let's go ahead and take a log. There's actually two ways to take a log on Android. You can take what's currently in the memory or in the buffer, and you can take continuous log. Okay, so let's go ahead and take the log from the buffer. We're gonna say ADB logcat -d. Okay, and that's gonna start outputting a whole bunch of stuff on my screen. So, and then it stops. Automatically it stops once the buffer was dumped into my terminal. It stopped automatically. But if we execute ADB logcat without the -d option, it's actually going to continue scrolling. Okay, you see that it stopped. That's because there is no more logs coming in right now. But if I use the device, okay, if I open some apps, close them, or do something, it's gonna output some logs, and it's gonna continue to do so until I pull the plug on the device. So to exit, I can just do Control C. Okay, that's gonna cut the operation short, and it's going to return the terminal back to me. Now, this is kind of cool to see the logs on the screen, and might be useful sometime, but a lot of the time you just want to write the log into a file and maybe share that file with somebody. So to do that, we can just do ADB logcat greater than sign, and then name of the log uh, file. If I do log.txt, it's going to save log.txt to my desktop. Okay, so let's execute it. And you see that there is no more output on the screen. That's because all of the output is going directly into this file. And it's going to be going there until I hit Control C to cut the operation short. Okay, and once I do that, it's going to return the terminal back to me. And if I open this this log file in Notepad, we'll see a whole bunch of stuff here that was logged. Okay. There is one more operation that's pretty common when taking logs, and that's before you start taking log, you may want to clear it. Okay, so if you have some sort of issue that is reproducible and you want to make sure that you have a nice clean log to share with the devs so it's easy to debug, you may want to clear the buffer and then start your log and then reproduce the issue and then stop the log and then share the file. Okay, so in order to clear the log buffer, we can use command like ADB logcat -c. That's going to clear everything in the log buffer. Okay. Besides taking logs, we can also take screenshots. Okay. So let's go ahead and open this File Explorer and let's just go somewhere in here. So SD card Android. Let's take a screenshot and save it to this location. To do that, we're going to type ADB shell screencap, and then we're going to save it to SD card Android, and we should give it a name, so we're just going to say screenshot.png. Okay, hit enter, and now when we go here, we can refresh, and we see a screenshot. Let's say I want to remove this screenshot. Okay, I can do that one of two ways. I can type ADB shell rm and then the location of that screenshot. I can do it this way, and then if I refresh, it's gone. Or let's take the screenshot again. Or I can go into the shell terminal of the device and I can navigate to SD card, Android, okay, and then if you look at the contents of this directory, we see a screenshot, and then we can say rm screenshot, and then it's gone, then I can exit. And when we refresh, the screenshot is gone. We can also push files to the device, okay? For example, let's see, I have this log file on my desktop. Let's push this log file onto SD card Android. To do that, we can type ADB push log.txt, and I want to push it to SD card Android. If I refresh this, we're gonna have the log. on our SD card. Let's remove this log from my host machine. Okay, now I no longer have this log file on my host machine. Oh no, I needed this file. Okay, but I do have a backup right here on my SD card. Let's move this backup over to the desktop. So we're gonna do ADB pull SD card Android log.txt, and we're gonna execute that. And now when I check my contents of the desktop, we see the log.txt file. Great. All right. Now let's say I have an app. Well, let's take this app for example. What was its activity name or package ID? I need the package ID. Okay. So let's get the package ID again. ADB shell dumpsys Windows find string focus. Okay, so I need this package ID. Why do I need the package ID? Because I want to force stop this app programmatically. Again, I don't want to go into the settings and do the force stop. I want to programmatically stop this app. To do that, I'm going to type ADB shell am force stop and then the package ID. When I hit this, when I execute it, the app is going to be stopped. Now, if I reopen it, it's going to reopen just fine. If I want to clear data for this app, I can also do that by executing ADB shell and using package manager. We're going to say clear and then the package ID. And that will wipe all the cache, all the data for this app. And when we open it, it's just going to be like the very first start of the app. We can also send key events and text with ADB. So let's type something in the search field. Let's do ADB shell intent key event. Oh, not key event, I'm sorry. Text. Actually, I think it's input. I'm sorry. ADB shell input key event. Text. Sorry, it's getting late. ADB shell input text, and then we can type my name, for example. Okay, great. We can also pass key events. Okay, so we can simulate home button press or back button press. Let's just for demonstrative purposes open this app and let's exit it via the back button. Okay, and to do that, we're gonna type ADB shell input, and now we're gonna do key event for, and that will simulate a back button press. And see, it says press again to exit. We're gonna execute it once again, and that should exit the app. Okay, now let's simulate a home button press, and that's pretty easy. We're just gonna reuse the command that we used before, but we're gonna change the key event to 3. And that will simulate home button press. let's see, two more commands left. These are pretty big commands. You can get creative using them, but let's take a look at ADB shell dumpsys. When we execute it, it's gonna dump a whole lot of stuff about our device. Lots of info. Okay, so if you're gonna execute this command, um, it's gonna take a very long time. It's gonna take you a very long time to parse. It's gonna take a very long time to finish. So you want to kind of split this into subcommands. Okay, and there are a lot of subcommands that you can use for ADB shell dumpsys. And to find some of them, you can either Google or you can use, you can grep, or, well, you can filter. Let's say you can filter by um, dump of service. And we're going to take this in quotation marks. And because I'm on the Windows, I'm going to say find string. But remember, if you're on a Mac, you want to say grep. Okay. So I'm going to do ADB shell dump sys, and I'm going to filter by dump service. So let's take a look at some of the output here. I'm just going to stop it. Anything with dumpsys in front of it can be used as a subcommand. Okay. What that means is, for example, alarm. I can say ADB shell dumpsys alarm, and it's gonna give me a bunch of information for alarm manager. All right. Similar to all of the other ones. So feel free to explore this on your own. It's pretty huge utility that you can use for debugging purposes. I'm not gonna explain all in detail because I don't even know it myself that well. If I need something from dumpsys, I usually go to Google and reference um, information from there. One other command that's very useful, especially if you're doing automations, is ADB shell get prop. Okay, and that basically going to return you a pretty big list, a pretty big hash map of key value pairs with properties of the device and the current state of the device. So let's go ahead and execute that. So here we see a key and a value. Okay. Let's use a key to get just one value that we're interested in, because you don't need to outprint this whole thing when you can, if I'm interested what's my Wi-Fi interface that's currently being used, I can execute ADB shell get prop Wi-Fi interface, and that's going to return a specific interface that's being used right now for Wi-Fi. So WLAN0 is the one that's being used right now. So similar with all of the other keys, you can just substitute them here, and that will return you the value for the key. Alright guys, I hope you liked the video. Make sure to like the video, subscribe, and see you next time. Take care. Thank you for watching.